Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Myra. Today, I'm going to show you guys how to properly prep your meat as well as make a good rub for it. Of course, make sure it's been cleaned already and washed. As you can see here, this is huge. So I'm actually going to cut these ribs a little bit to make my work area a little bit more manageable. And the first thing we're going to do here is take all of this fat and connective tissue off. Remove all of that membrane. It really serves no purpose. So I'm just picking off as much as I can. And again, we'll move all the membrane off of this one here too. One reason that we also want to take this membrane off is because you've seen those ribs where the meat falls off the bones? It's because this membrane is not here stopping it. All that extra tissue that's in the way just makes it a little tougher and it keeps the meat on the bones better. So if we take that off, it'll make your meat more tender. Also, your meat will be more flavorful because your seasonings can actually permeate the meat without this membrane blocking that for you. So what I used here was a napkin. It makes it easier to grab because sometimes it's hard to grip it with the gloves or even with your bare hands. But using a napkin makes it extremely easy to grab the membrane and just tear it right off. Just get off as much as that as I can. Next, we're going to take some apple cider vinegar and put it all over our meat. This is going to help tenderize your meat. Also gives it a nice flavor too. And as your ribs are cooking on your grill, the sugars within that apple cider vinegar will start to come out of the meat a little bit and give it a nice caramelization and a good sweet taste. It'll caramelize on top of your meat. So I'm just working this apple cider vinegar and massaging it all into these ribs here. And we'll let this sit for about 30 minutes. Before we let it sit though, we're also going to add a little mustard as well, because again, this mustard will also help in the tenderization of your meat. And again, it's going to give it a really good flavor. So we're just going to rub that mustard in on both sides as well. Just massaging that into our meat really good. Now, while our meat is actually sitting there and marinating for that 30 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and make a rub. We have some brown sugar, some garlic powder, some paprika, we'll mix that together. Make sure that our seasonings are evenly distributed throughout this brown sugar. Then we'll go behind that with some onion powder. And we're going to mix that in too, really well. The rest of our seasonings, we'll actually put them directly on our meat before adding this rub to it. It's just the way I like to do to make sure that my meat gets that seasoning touching it perfectly and directly. So now we'll come over to our meat that's been sitting here for quite some time. First, I'm going to sprinkle on some celery seed. Follow that by some smokehouse maple seasoning. Seasoned salt. And then black pepper. So I'm gonna pat my seasoning in and let it get in my meat really good before I add the brown sugar rub. And we'll flip that and we'll do the same thing to all of this meat. Same seasonings and then that same rub again. We'll do that to everything. And we'll let our meat sit for about another 35 to 45 minutes before cooking it, just to let it get a chance to really marinate. Now, do you have to let it sit? No, you can just go ahead and season and throw it around the grill, but for those seasonings to really get throughout your meat good and let those seasonings do what they're supposed to do, it's best to let it sit for at least 35 to 45 minutes. In fact, you could really let it go a whole day. Put it in your fridge and start the next day with your grill. And it'll be extremely tender and extremely seasoned. But I let this sit for about 45 minutes once I had all of my rub on there and my seasonings. But this is what it'll look like now that I have it on everything. I flipped it over. This is how that side looks, and it's ready to go on the grill. So I threw this meat on the grill, let it cook till it was thoroughly done on both sides. I did cut it right in the middle to make sure it was done because this is pork. And you see it's done here. So after this, I went ahead and sliced up all the ribs one by one. Threw a little bit of my sauce on it. And oh my God, the taste was amazing. There you have it, guys. Enjoy. Thanks so much for watching, and please don't forget to like, share, and of course, subscribe.